The Professional Bowlers Association Summer Tour on ESPN is being brought to you by Budweiser. Beach to an age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Rheem, the air of quality. And by Kingsford Charcoals. For equipment you can depend on, Kingsford Charcoals. What the pros use. And now let's preview tonight's top 5 finalists. From Fort Worth, Texas, making his first championship round appearance since 1987, it's 25-year-old right-hander Norm Duke. His opponent in the opening game is two-time Firestone Tournament of Champions champ Mark Williams. Starting from the number 3 position, it's 7-time PBA winner Tommy Baker of Buffalo, New York. Looking for his first victory of the '89 season, Marshall Holman will begin tonight's action from the runner-up position, while the PBA's newest Triple Crown winner, Pete Weber, will need to win just one game in order to collect $20,000 and his 13th career PBA title. And welcome, everyone, to Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl in Dublin, California for the championship round finals of the $130,000 Kessler Open. Hi, everyone. I'm Denny Schreiner, and welcome to the house that Earl built. That's right, Earl Anthony, one of the greatest players of all time and a PBA Hall of Famer, is home in Dublin, California. And working with me once again this week, another PBA Hall of Famer, Mike Durbin. And Mike, the touring pros are back, and we have a terrific telecast here this evening.
Dan, we certainly do have a terrific cast tonight. Our 5 players have 47 titles between them. They have 5 Tournament of Champions victories, 3 U.S. Open titles, a PBA National, and just for good measure, a Touring Players Championship. So we've got all of the majors and some outstanding names.
All right, if you're standing outside here at Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl and you look up at the marquee, it says Pete Weber and Marshall Holman. If they meet in the championship game, who has the edge?
Well, I think right now, Pete Weber definitely has the edge. He's 4-1 versus Marshall, and last night when they bowled one another, Marshall was ahead by 47 pins, which meant that Pete had to win by 18 pins. He beat him by 50. So if he's going to bowl Marshall tonight, I think the edge is definitely with Pete Weber.
And, of course, if you're looking at the racing program, there's a horse slotted in the number 4 position that's a very strong finisher, that being Mark Williams. He's as good as anybody in the championship round.
Well, he's got a 214 average for his TV tournament appearances. He has won 6 titles, and 5 of those titles he's won from coming up other than the number 1 position. So he can definitely throw strikes under the lights, and he's bowled the best on this pair. But don't forget Tommy Baker, too.
All right, now let's assess the championship round pair. Lanes 33 and 34. The pros averaged about 215 on that pair this week. What do you figure is going to happen tonight?
I figure it's going to be pretty similar, Dan. I think they're going to average right around that 215, 220 range. I think all the players are going to hit the 1-3 pocket. It's simply a matter of the guy who can get those corner pins out. Mark Williams got the edge there, too. He averaged 236 on this pair. So I think he's got a good shot.
All right, coming up, Pete Weber, of course, our top seed. He'll bowl for $20,000 here this evening. But before we get to the championship game, a pair of talented Texans will hook up in the opening chest. Norm Duke and Mark Williams. The PBA on ESPN coming up next.
For a nice cool bud?
And where does she come from?
When rain comes into view, cool air surrounding, the air of quality, cools with efficiency.
When summer heats up your neighborhood, cool down with a call for reliable, high-efficiency air conditioning from Rheem.
Call me Rheem. Cool air of quality. Call me Rheem.
Some guys make it look easy. They've got the new moves, the hot hand, because they've got barbecue bag charcoal briquettes from Kingsford. Just light the bag for 1 barbecue's worth of premium Kingsford charcoal. To score some easy points, pick up barbecue bag. Just fire one in there, and you'll have this game in the bag. Barbecue bag from Kingsford, what the pros use.
Welcome back, everyone, to Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl in Dublin, California. Match number 1 of the $130,000 Kessler Open. Norm Duke, Mark Williams. Duke starts on lane 33, the left-hand lane.
Using 33 and 34 here at Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl, and they appear to be tighter today than they've been all week long, Danny. Most of the players are playing right outside toward the extreme edge of the lane. Right where Norm Duke just threw that one.
And of course, he gets it back and strikes on the opening shot. You're cringing a little bit. If you can hook the ball back, it's a great shot. If it doesn't come back, 2-8-10s, washouts, all sorts of other possibilities.
Mark Williams is very good at that shot, but he's opted to play deeper inside.
Playing around the 15 board. Ball comes up a touch high and leaves the solid 4.
It's interesting how it goes, the ebb and flow, Dan. Mark in practice was striking at will until about 10 minutes before airtime. And then the oil appeared to carry down the lane a little bit, and since then he's been struggling to get 2 strikes in a row.
Goes to a harder surface ball for the spare conversion.
Mark Williams, 5-step bowler, holds that ball about waist high, puts it out there, head nice and steady, does a little funny thing at the backswing, but it's shoulder high. Now watch the nice follow through. Eyes on target, straight up through it.
When he gets it rolling, it's as pretty as a picture. That one with a solid 10 on lane 33.
But he says, well, I threw 2 balls in the pocket. Make the spare and see what Duke does.
Well, the key all week long was trying to carry the corner pins. The majority of the professionals had no trouble whatsoever hitting the pocket.
All week long, yeah. They were some big scores this week. A lot of strings of strikes. And a lot of corner pins.
Yep. Steve Cook shot 300 this week and route to leaderboard of the rack.
So does Steve Hardy.
Yep. Norm Duke with a rather stylish look here this evening.
I guess I'm out of date on these styles.
I told him he could join the Army right after the telecast with that khaki color.
Trying for a double. Ooh, he gets that 10 pin out of there. Very nice trip out.
Well, his speed is fairly soft. That's got to be an advantage.
Definitely. See if he's taking 6 steps this time. 1, 2. Now he pushes the ball out. It's like a 4-step delivery from here. Head nice and steady. Backswing over his head. Nice follow through. Look at how that left foot turns and how close he came to that foul line. He fouled twice in practice, Dan.
Opens up here with a double.
Oh, what a break. Now let's see what pin that was.
Now, my bet's the head pin.
It usually is when it comes back around, but it hit something in the middle of the lane and came back around. Let's watch it. Watch the head pin. It's out on the edge, right on the first board, coming in behind the head pin. The head pin goes, and it is. It's that head pin that shoots across. Usually is. Williams finds himself down. And the 7-10. That's how to make it on the first ball, huh?
Well, for a moment, they were both standing, and then they were wiped away. So Williams, with his first strike, tries to cut at the lead. He trails by 21 early on.
He needs to put some pressure on Norm Duke. He needs a big double right now. Right here. Only the 4th frame in the first game. Giving a lot of room. Boy, he had the 7 and 10 up there. And this time he only got 1 of them out. Last time he got both of them out.
Flirting with disaster there, nearly leaving the pocket 7-10. Headpin came over and took out the 10, but that's got to make you think a little bit, doesn't it, Michael? You can't flirt with a split that you can't make.
Well, he's left a 4, a 10, and a 7, and so what you're thinking is, how do I carry it?
Yeah, when you're playing somebody that starts with the first 3, you better come up with a solution in a hurry. It's Norm Duke by 21. Back with more from Dublin, California, right after these messages.
This is the last time I go camping with a polka band. Thank heavens they're finally taking a nap. No! Oh, no, guys! Ludzki, polki, polki, stop! 10 hours of polka is too much for any man! No! Boy, can I go for a Jenny now!
When you can go for a beer, go for a smooth, cold-aged Genesee.
A 1 and a 2 and a 3.
Ed Fisher Nissan has been in business for 22 years, and they know Nissans better than anyone else. Check out the 240SX, an exciting sports car at an affordable price. The Maxima, with the room and comfort of a fine luxury sedan. The Sentra, a compact car that combines value with versatility. The Pathfinder, part car, part truck, and totally unique. And the all-new 1990 Z-Car for ultimate power, comfort, and control. Plus, get low APR financing, cashback, and double rebates at Ed Fisher Nissan in Lancaster.
And of course, it's the longest day of the year, I'm told, Mike Dermott. It's the summer solstice.
Summer solstice?
Right. So in other words, when we're done with the telecast, you and I could still go out and probably get 9 holes in.
Oh, all right.
Right.
Okay. Are you ready?
Sure.
Trying for 4 in a row. Had been slowed down coming across that. It was coming.
He's tired.
The message was coming, but it got shot down.
So Duke starts with the first 3. Leads by 20 early on.
And Mark Williams sighs with relief that he's only 20 down.
That's right. Tommy Baker qualifies number 3, Marshall Holman number 2, and Pete Weber, our top seed this week. Some outstanding bowling coming up here at Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl on ESPN. Week number 2 of the PBA Summer Tour. Norm Duke feels like, without question, he's one of the best spare shooters on the PBA National Tour. Your thoughts about that?
I never have really studied his spare game that much. Obviously, if he feels that he's that good, he must have the stats to back it up. There's some outstanding spare bowlers. Marshall Holman's a very good spare bowler. Mark Ross, probably one of the best in the history of the game. And, of course, our host here, when he was bowling, Earl Anthony, was an outstanding spare shooter.
He never left any spares.
Oh, he left lots of spares.
Oh,
People don't realize that, but he just didn't miss many.
More speed on this shot, and it breaks up high. And not an easy spare conversion here.
3-6-10 cuts that lead down to 17 pins right now. See him hanging that ball just a little longer. Didn't get the extension down the lane that he wanted, and the ball went left immediately. It's just not a clean release with that delivery that he had right there. Cross lane at the 3-6-10. Hard and probably straight. Yep, very straight. Made it look easy, didn't he?
Oh, notice how he disadvantage if you can shoot those spares.
Well, you notice how he flattened the wrist down and just went straight to it, a straight ball. He threw it that spares. Nice tip for the people watching back home.
Mark Williams with earnings this year in excess of $37,000. That might sound like a lot, but he's way down basically from years past. $140,000 last year. A little slower speed there and a solid 10-6 pin whistling around the 10.
Well, it's like we said at the top of the show, Dan. It's a person that can get those corner pins out that's going to be the winner tonight. And right now, Mark Williams, even though he did it well during the course of the week, is having trouble getting the 10s and 4s and 7s out.
After posting a 14-10 match play record this week, was second at one time, and I think had thoughts of leading this event, and ended up qualifying number 4.
Well, the thing that happens so many times when a bowler is getting tapped like this and only 1 strike in 5 frames is we make a little adjustment to try and carry, and then sometimes the 10-pin has company.
In other words, you run out of patience a little bit.
Sometimes, especially in a 1-game match. That's what he's looking for right there, dead flush.
Perfect shot by Mark Williams out of Beaumont, Texas.
Now watch Mark Williams' follow-through. See that head down and watch the follow-through. Right straight through the 90-degree angle there. More speed again and high again. He's fighting that release, the 3-6-9-10. See if he throws it straight at this because he's got the 9-pin. I think that he will try and hook it into this spare den.
Like that time in watching Duke's backswing, he pulled that shot, no question about it. That was a good 3 boards left of where he's been throwing the ball. And we talked about Mark Williams' arm swing, and of course the average builder this week centered around the arm swing and what happens there, and that'll be coming up after a game or so.
He's playing it from the right, Dan. He's going to throw this and try and hook it right around the... No, he moved back to the left. Thought better of it at the last second. See if he throws it straight and hard or tries to hook it. Straight. And made it. Very nice shot. Boy, he thought about this a lot, but that backswing got up. Now watch him left here. He's aiming about the first board and almost went over about the first arrow.
Yeah, he's 3 or 4 boards left.
Right, he never got it close to the channel. The ones before were hanging off the edge. Kind of tough to trust it out there, though. Here's a new view we have. We see the ball cutting right through the heart of the pins and leaving that 3, 6, 9, 10 on that last shot. Back to live action. Boy, 3 times in a row he's hit the nose and had no splits. But he's lost 10 pins and count.
Let me ask you this. Is he making adjustments to the strikes he was throwing, or is he just pulling the ball?
He's just pulling the ball, I think.
Looks a little more deliberate now. A little freer arm swing the first couple of frames. Of course, championship round appearance pressure will do that to you. Cross lane one more time and the spare conversion. So Duke still leads in this one, but the lead now is shrunk to 12 pins. We'll be back with the conclusion of game number 1 of the $130,000 Kessler Open in just one.
What's your problem? What? You want to see? Crazy dog.
Right now, all over America, people are busy getting their homes ready for you to come see them. It's part of Better Homes and Gardens' celebration of the American home. A celebration that's all about helping you find the home you've been looking for. In fact, this Sunday we'll be having thousands of open houses, and you're invited. Find out about homes and special events in your area by calling your local Better Homes and Gardens member firm. Join us for Better Homes and Gardens' celebration of the American home.
When the sun goes down, the surf's up on ESPN's Hot Summer Nights. Hot Summer Nights means water sports action with a twist every Saturday night beginning at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
One of the great promoters, PBA Hall of Famer Ted Hoffman, our host once again here this year for the 6th consecutive year, and what a marvelous job he does.
He's been promoting tournaments out on the West Coast here for over 20 years. He was with Smallcombe Enterprises back in the late 60s and early 70s. There he is with his wife, Marilyn. And then he had a Hawaiian tournament for a number of years that you had to earn points to go to, and then had the Kessler tournament here. He's also the Western Regional Director in his spare time.
What spare time? Well, really an amazing man. Has done a lot for professional bowling and bowlers of all sorts for many, many, many years. Just a delight to be around.
And he used to bowl in the tour at one
Yep.
time.
Finished second 4 times. Never quite got to the winner's circle like this guy has in full my. As Williams bounced back with a key double in the 7th, and he cuts the lead now to just 2 pins.
Did you see how pretty he threw that shot? After commercial break, key shot there. Now it's even bigger, though. He can take the lead for the first time in the match and really put some pressure on Norm Duke. Has to hurry. Is he going to get the 10 out? It did. And boy, the 2-10, he gave it right back, Denny. Now he's going to take his other ball and throw it hard and straight and try and clip the 2-pin. He's left it split a number of times during the course of the week. He wants to hit the 2-pin on the left and send it over into the 10. He needs to make this.
Delight in that conversion. It's a very difficult split to pick up.
Oh, it's just under pressure. It was a great shot. Here's his first ball, where he just didn't catch it. It's what the players say. He just didn't catch it. Sent it a little wide, not heavy enough fingers, and it just didn't make it back. The 2 and the 10.
And then, of course, the conversion of the 2-10, and now Duke leads by just 4 here in the 8th. Liked it all the way, and so Duke strikes in the 8th.
We see Duke's ball coming in here from that outside angle, suddenly a little bit more aggressive and knocked that 10-pin right out of there.
Good look at the scoreboard there now as the match tightens up considerably, and if Duke strikes here on the left-hand lane, they'll increase the lead to at least 14. A little re-rack there for Duke, looking for a little extra time. Better speed on this shot. Got it down the lane, but the 10-pin doesn't fall.
He's fighting it a little bit, Dan. Just fighting it. Mark Williams sitting right in the catbird seat, down by 4 pins, but knows that he can win this match if he strikes out.
Well, this one's really settled down to a tough affair here in the opening go.
This is what it's all about on the PBA Tour. The player that can perform in the 9th and 10th frame. Duke knows that his fate's not in his hands now. It's in Mark Williams's.
You know, if Duke would strike out, he would shoot 220. Mark Williams could shoot 226.
You got it. Oh, solid 7. Boy, he has had no breaks this game. He's had 1 ball out of the pocket, and that one he got a split on. And it wasn't high. He's had a 7, a 4, a couple of 10s, and another 7.
So now with a spare and 3-bagger, 215 is the top score. Swings the door wide open for Mr. Duke.
It's a 5-pin difference in who can perform in the 10th frame. We're going to see who can get the strikes when they need them. Mark Williams is famous for being a pressure, cool performer in the 10th frames. A lot of room again. Ooh, got that 10-pin out of there pretty.
A little more turn that time of the wrist, I think.
He caught it with those fingers. Throws this shot just the same. Nice long slide, heavy fingers. Went out the same place as the 8th frame, only this one, because of the finger lift, made the turn and knocked the 10 out. Now again, he had an opportunity in the 8th frame to take the lead. He's got an opportunity now in the 11th frame here to take the lead in the match and took another re-rack.
Now, if he strikes here, he forces Duke to double.
Right, but he goes ahead. That's the big thing, Dan. He goes ahead. Here it comes. Perfect. Oh, is that pretty?
Sweet shot from Williams in the 11th. Now, if he strikes, he shoots 215, and so Norm Duke will have to at least double here to advance to game number 2.
He needs 2 strikes and 6.
Looked like he even set that one a little short, but he tightened that one up a little bit. Boy, what a gutsy shot that time by Williams.
Solid 7 in the 9th. A big shot right now.
He gets robbed in the 9th. If he strikes there, he's automatically moving on to game number 2.
6 strikes altogether. Duke right now has 4. He wants to get 6, and he's going to win.
Well, they average 215 on this pair throughout the week, and that's exactly what Williams shoots in game number 1.
Gave it room. Oh, pretty shot. Nice shot. Good speed. Trusted it all the way. Little split action screen there.
Well, he really stayed with that shot. Stayed right in the line of the crouch and waited until the ball hit the pin.
Right. He was down all the way, Dan. Trusted that shot. Sometimes when you're ahead in a match, you know, in any sporting event, you have a tendency to hang on, and when you're behind, you just let it go.
Only career title came back in '84 when he was only 18 years old.
Bounced that one. And solid 10.
Oh, not what he wanted, not what the doctor ordered in the 11th. Double hopped it. That was like a one-hopper to shortstop. Williams the winner with 215. Duke will shoot 210 if he spares, and he'd love to have that shot back.
Well, he put it where he wanted to put it. He just gave it that double dribble shot there, and it seemed to take some of the roll off of it and left a solid 10.
game number 1 goes to Mark Williams, and there you see a dejected Norm Duke. 215 to 210, the final tally. So Williams will move on into game number 2, and he'll be matched up against Williams. But, of course, Average Builders coming up next here on ESPN.
2 days coming up over easy. New days coming on good, Lord. Me, I'm falling into a hot and big muffin morning. Look out, that bass head and the golden glow of a great day. Hey, wait, yeah. A hot McMuffin hunger for just one taste.
The one and only taste of an Egg McMuffin.
Gonna be a hot McMuffin morning at McDonald's. How you doing?
Frank, I send you for a Bud Light, and you bring back...
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
So, there are no men here, there's an unlimited supply of Bud Light, and we can never leave.
Correct.
Because everything else is just a light.
We can live with that.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone. Opening game 215 to 210. The winner for Williams over Duke, and that is at the end of the rainbow. Beautiful pot there. Not a pot of gold, but a pot with $20,000 in it. 6 strikes for Mark Williams in game number 1. And he'll advance into the second game of this championship, the $130,000 Kessler Open at Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl in Dublin, California. And there's a look at the way things worked out throughout the week here, Mr. Durbin. All bowlers averaging just a fraction better than 201. The right-handers at 201.42. The lefties had a little bit of an edge on the lanes this week, although none of them made it to the championship round. Average to qualify 209, and the average to cash 205 at Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl here in Dublin, California this week. And now it's time to take a look at the Average Builders, and it concerns this week the follow-through, a very important aspect in the sport of bowling. So it's time now for Mike Durbin to take over and teach us.
In any sport using a ball, the follow-through is of utmost importance. And the same is true in the sport of bowling. Yet I found in bowling, the follow-through is one of the most overlooked and misunderstood aspects of the game. But remember this, the follow-through is simply a weather vane telling us what happened at the point of release. And the follow-through can many times tell us whether a ball is going light or high. It can tell us whether the bowler had a quality release. It can even tell us sometimes the emotional state of a bowler on a given shot. Well, how can the follow-through tell us all these things, and what type of follow-through should we strive for? Well, I believe that the best follow-through that any bowler, amateur or professional, can have is one that forms a 90-degree angle between the shoulders and the right arm if you're right-handed. And, of course, if you're left-handed, between the shoulders and the left arm. It really doesn't matter if the arm is straight or whether you want to break your elbow on up this way. The important thing is this 90-degree angle here. Now, how can the follow-through tell us whether the ball is going light or high? Well, let's look at a couple examples. Let's suppose I'm lined up and I'm throwing the ball over the second arrow, and I'm hitting the 1-3 pocket and sending my follow-through to 90, shot after shot, and then suddenly you see me shoot my follow-through out here to the right. Well, is that ball going to miss the head pin, as many people think, when I throw the follow-through to the right? Well, let's examine it. What probably happened on that shot is in the backswing, my arm got slightly away from my body. And as the ball headed down in the downswing, I've got 15 or 16 pounds headed left here. And my body automatically senses that, and is to try and save the shot, I send the follow-through out to the right. But the ball continues left. So when that follow-through went out here, the ball's not going to miss the head pin. It's headed high. How about on the other hand? Let's suppose again that I'm lined up throwing the ball over the second arrow, shot after shot, and then suddenly you see me do this. This is what the bowlers call the chicken wing shot. Well, what happened here? Well, this follow-through tells us that something went wrong at the point of release. Either I lost the ball, or maybe on that particular shot it was a high-pressure shot in my mind, and I just didn't have the courage or the ability to trust the shot, so I tried to steer it into the pocket. And the result is, in either case, that that ball is probably coming up light. and even if it gets to the 1-3 pocket, it's going to hit the pins weakly. Now, the bowler, I believe, on our telecast tonight that has the best follow-through and exemplifies this principle is Mark Williams. You've just seen him in the first match. Mark has that ability to just put shot after shot after shot right out here at 90 degrees. And the amazing thing about Mark is it doesn't matter whether it's a practice shot or to win a tournament. He's able to put it the same way every time. Well, how does it look in actual practice? Let me show you. But before I start, I want to say one thing. Many times under high-pressure situations, when my heart was beating 1,000 miles an hour, what I was thinking of as I was going up in my approach was not necessarily hitting my target. I was looking at it and trying to walk toward my target, but I was thinking of where I wanted my follow-through to go, of that follow-through going up to 90 degrees. The reason being, I knew if I was lined up right and had a straight arm swing, that if that follow-through went to 90 degrees, the ball was going to go to target and it would be a quality shot. Let's see how it looks in actual practice. That's what it looks like. Remember, you can't improve upon a follow-through that goes to 90 degrees. We'll see you again next week when we'll have another Average Builder.
Mark Williams wins game number 1, and so next in line, Tom Baker out of Buffalo. And Baker has yet to make a telecast in the past couple of years, so he'll be hungry here in game number 2.
To get great-looking hair, you don't need separate shampoo and conditioner. Get it together. In just one step, get your hair clean, more manageable.
There's one that does the work of two.
For control you can't get from shampoo alone.
Wash and go.
Shampoo plus conditioner in one.
Hi, I'm Jakob Smirna for Best Western. When I used to check into other hotels, I always had reservations, but I'd stay there anyway. Now with Best Western, I have so many different choices. I can always get and pay for only what I need. Like they just asked me in my room, would I like a king or a queen? What a country. I'm sure they're very nice people, but I'd rather have my own room.
All right, Tom Baker, Mark Williams here in game number 2. And right at the end of the Open, you said, hey, watch out for Tommy Baker. He's back. He's got his hands full here with Williams.
And he bowled Mark Williams twice in the match play, beating both times.
Yeah, that break in the action sure helped that swing, didn't it?
I tell you, just nothing seems to rattle that man.
Record on championship round appearances, 25 wins, 14 losses. And when he gets it going, he's dangerous.
I bet his heartbeat's sitting right around 70 right now. He's not excited at all.
Shot we've seen a lot this week, a solid hit and a solid 10.
And that's an angle you don't see Tommy Baker play a lot. It's not his favorite angle playing out around that first arrow. He likes the inside a little better, or right between the second and third arrow. But he determined the lanes were tighter than they had been all week, and he needed to move out there.
Gives you a good idea of the versatility of the professionals having to play several different angles. Even if you don't want to sometimes, you have to come up with something that's going to hit the pocket and strike. Hang on.
Well, I always heard that I had ears on me and the lanes didn't have any ears. I had to listen to the lane. Tommy Baker, 5-step bowler, one of our classic styles. Very slow push away, slightly controlled swing. Very steady head, left arm out there for balance, short backswing, nice long slide, good follow through.
Hand problems have been well chronicled through the years, and he is bowling in some pain and has made a little adjustment, bowling with a conventional grip, and he's got some finger grips in there as well, so it's given him a little more hit power, and he shows it right there.
He kind of goes over the top in that release, almost a spin shot, but he gets a nice slow arcing ball. He's always had that gentle gainer to the pocket.
I mentioned conventional grip. Maybe you can let the fans know what I'm talking about.
Well, that means he's got his middle 2 fingers in all the way up to the second joint. Normally, the players, as Mark Williams doubles, have a fingertip where they have their fingers into the first joint then. conventional drilled ball, you're not going to get as much
Hook? For me, I couldn't get any hook. Of course, I couldn't get any hook with any ball, but even left with that one.
Sandpaper City for you, right? Williams opts for a re-rack on lane 33 after a double. We haven't touched on that yet. The rule has changed for our professionals in the championship round.
In all aspects of the tournament, you're allowed only 2 re-racks in the qualifying, finals, and the championship round.
Trying to make it 3 in a row to start match number 2, and up jumps the 10-pin.
Boy, that's been there a lot this week, hasn't it?
Nine years a member of the Professional Bowlers Association, 6 titles, 2 of those coming in Fairlawn, Firestone Tournament of Champions.
Oh, and that measured just right, didn't he?
Williams saving the wood there on the spare attempt on the left-hand lane.
And it measured just 60 feet right there. As it falls off, it nicks the 10-pin. Never
I think that's 59 feet and 11 inches, right? Got the job done, though. Baker now looks for the double to take the lead.
When the 6 hung there and hung there, it wasn't going to hit the 10, and it didn't.
Takes forever for that ball to get down there, doesn't it? He's a master at speed control, though.
He's a master at being able to throw the ball slow and still score on almost all conditions. But you see his average is down this year. It's not nearly as high as it's been in years past. Uh-oh. Well, we have one slide off. Tommy, usually a very good spare shooter, and just to miss the 10-pin. Would like to point out, you know, that neither one of these guys throw the ball really that hard, and Tommy Baker with that soft speed just shows that a variety of ways to score in the sport of bowling. You don't need to throw it a rocket ship down there in order to score.
Now trails by 21 in the match after the missed 10-pin.
Plus, it's got to unnerve him some.
A little more speed, a little more turn on this shot, and a better reaction. So Baker comes back with a strike and tries to cut the lead a little bit, but he's already made the miscue, and we'll see if Mark Williams can take advantage when we return.
It's big. A sales event so big, we could never show you all the great deals during this commercial. It's your Dodge dealer's Big Savings Spectacular with great deals on almost everything in stock. Get the Dodge you've been looking for and get big savings. Choose financing as low as 0% on select models. Or get up to $2,000 cash back. Combine with package savings and save up to $3,000. And that's before we start dealing. On-the-spot financing for qualified buyers.
Feel the new spirit at your neighborhood Dodge Boys.
You can't ask your family about everything. And you can't really ask your friends because they don't know much more than you do. So who do you talk to if you have questions about AIDS? Or worse, if you think you've been exposed to AIDS? Well, now you can get the facts by calling the AIDS Fact Line. You'll get straight answers and accurate information. Ask us. Don't be in the dark about AIDS.
The game's major champions make up an outstanding field. The world's greatest golfers tee off at the Canadian Open. Complete 4-round coverage starts Thursday afternoon at 4 Eastern live on ESPN.
And a hefty $20,000 paycheck on top this week.
And I think all of the players left, that's the only prize that they're looking at right now, Dan. I mean, even though it pays nice 10-5 for second, 7 and 55 and 45, I know Marshall Holman's thinking he's won $22,000 so far this year. He can almost double his earnings if he wins here tonight. Pete Weber's going to go over $100,000 again. That's a yearly occurrence with him.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of par for the course now. Back to live action, and Mark Williams, and another strike.
21 pins. Mark Williams definitely has what we call that killer instinct that when he gets his opponent down, he likes to slam the door right on him. Nail the coffin shut.
If he would win here this evening, he would surpass the $500,000 career earnings mark. Oh,
and didn't do it.
3-6-10 on the left-hand lane.
His first real errant shot. I mean, he had the 210. Eyes right on the target. Boy, even his bad shots look just the same as his good ones, don't they? I tell you. Couldn't spot anything watching that follow-through. Looked just the same, but there had to be something different. All right, so Baker now finds himself in a position where if he doubles up, he would trail by 11. If he throws a turkey, he's right back in the match. Yeah, Mark Williams gave Tommy a little reprieve there by not getting another double. Snap that weak 10 out of there.
Is one of the keys to carrying the 10, Mike, speed control or no?
No, I think it's mainly just that quality of the release where you have those heavy fingers and that ball's alive when it hits the pins, Dan. I left a lot of weak 10s in my career.
Biggest shot of the match right now for Tom Baker.
Puts him almost even. He fiddles with that release a lot. Tries to get that right feel. Didn't hit the right field. A 2-8-10. He gave it too much room over the top of the ball. You see him a little flick that hand there. Meant that the thumb went down and the fingers went over the top of the ball and it didn't bite. Watch him on this release here. And look for the hand to turn over the top of the ball. And it's just spinning here. Virtually impossible split. It can be made, but with Tommy's soft speed, it'd be very difficult. You'd almost have to throw a backup ball at it to try and make it.
Well, Tommy said he was so pleased this week to qualify for the championship round. It's been a while since he has gotten to that position. Feels like he's definitely bowling better. Been able to make some finals and cash regularly, but not make the telecast. That's the key. Let's see if Williams can take advantage. Oh, my. That's the most errant shot we've seen him toss on the right-hand lane. Leaves only the 3, and he's probably happy to leave just that.
I think it's just a little lapse in concentration here. Maybe he needs a challenge in order to throw the ball well.
Well, the gentleman that's next in line will provide some opposition. Of course, that's Marshall Holman. Pete Weber's on top of the stack this week, so a hard row to go here to win this one.
Well, this one isn't over yet. Mark Williams just making an errant shot right through the heart of the pins and fortunately getting out with only the 3 pin. The 10 pin falling over. In fact, it almost fell and hit the 3. See if he moves a board or so left and tries to make a little better shot. High again. That lane's breaking down on him.
Yeah, he looks a little surprised. I think he felt like he made a quality shot there. Amazing to me how quickly the lanes change.
Well, normally in this situation, the oil carries down and sometimes they get tighter, but I don't think that's the case. He's going high.
So a spare up for Williams in the 7th. He continues to have the handle here. He leads by 24. Back with more of game number 2 from Dublin, California after this.
Builder Square. We buy by the trainload. Direct from top manufacturers. There's no middleman, no frills, no membership fees. And at Builder Square, we won't be undersold. Ever. Builder Square, where the values keep rolling on. Because the more we sell, the lower the price.
At Bic, we've been studying all the ways that you pull and stretch your face in search of a better shave. Now Bic presents our solution, introducing the new Bic Metal Shaver. The patented Bic Metal stretches and smooths your skin thanks to its unique metal guard bar, so the shaver glides closely and comfortably. Now, instead of stretching, start reaching for a new Bic Metal Shaver. It stretches your skin for a better shave, and that's no stretch.
And a true friend to bowling all over the country. Elaine Hagan in attendance here this evening, second vice president of the WIBC, running the Western region, on hand to watch the action here this evening. And I need to extend you congratulations. You'll be inducted into the Ohio Bowling Hall of Fame, what, in February, you told me?
October.
October, all right. And also,
Our host, Teddy Hoffman, will be inducted into the Philadelphia Bowling Hall of Fame here in a short amount of time.
Well, people don't realize that's where Teddy was originally from.
That's right. One of the great players, one of the great young players in the East. Youngest player ever to shoot 300, I think, sanctioned at one time during the early stages of his career. And meanwhile, Baker shakes his head and wishes he had a few strikes.
Tommy, interestingly enough, has a towel lying there on the ball return. He uses a wet towel, something that just makes me shiver to think about. I couldn't using a wet towel and put my hand on the bowling ball, but he likes it.
Well, most people are trying to dry their hands.
And he uses that wet towel. At the 4-7, no trouble.
Well, 2:13, his best possible tally, and he better get on the horse, because if he doesn't, he's going to be done here quickly.
Very quickly. But 2:13 is still, as Fred Wolf used to say, if you can do it with a pencil, you can do it with a bowling ball, and right now Mark Williams is only going at a 2:07 pace and doesn't seem to be drilling the pocket any longer, so if Tommy could just get something going.
Well, Baker doubled in the fourth and the fifth before the 2:8-10 jumped up. Needs to get something started. Made a good shot there and rattles the right.
Came in light, shredded him there, huh?
A Dice-O-Matic. Williams now in the 8th with a 24-pin lead, and, you know, he would just like to step up and double and shut the door.
Four shots in a row, right through the nose. He finally paid for one. This is an even match almost again. That's right close. It's going to be under 10 pins, or right at 10 pins. In fact, he gets 9 out. It's going to be a 10-pin match. Hard and straight, hoping for something to bounce out, and it didn't. So unlike Mark Williams.
Lanes might be a little tougher than they look.
I thought he had him figured out at the end of the last game and the beginning of this game, but now it's 4 frames in a row. He has not hit the 1-3 pocket.
Now his best possible score is 213.
Needs something in the 9th frame. Gave that one more room. He got the 10-pin out and finally got the ball where he wanted to get it.
You think it's a question of he just hasn't been throwing the ball far enough to the right?
I think he's a combination of that. He's got to get his feet a little bit further left. I think he's moving left all the time. He's left of that third arrow at the arrows, sending it out to about 10. Biggest shot of the week right now for Tom Baker right here. To even the match. Oh, I thought he was going to get a real break there, and he still left the 8-pin.
Now 213 goes to 203.
No, goes to 193.
Ooh. Yeah, you're right.
Unless I'm adding wrong here.
193 would be the maximum now for Baker.
But
where's falling?
Well, right now that's what Mark Williams is going at a 193 pace. So if Tom could step up here and throw 3 strikes, he would force Mark Williams to double to win this match also.
Williams providing the excitement in game number 1 as he knocked off Norm Duke 215 to 210 and had to strike out to do that, throw a couple of big shots, but now the pressure is on Tom Baker.
Low-scoring match here, but it's close. Will it carry? Perfect. Well, a 9-pin wouldn't stand up there for a second.
Look at Tommy. He's saying, wait a minute here. I've had problems with the 2-8-10, but come on, 9-pin, get out of there.
Been a different match if he'd have made that shot back in the 6th frame.
Well, for him, also the key shot, missing the 10-pin in the 3rd. Put himself in a bind right off the bat.
10 pins down, can virtually get even with the double here.
One looked left to target when he let it go, but boy, that was the best shot he's thrown.
This one's just as important, though, because this one makes Mark Williams strike to win. It makes him strike somewhere even to get a tie.
Well, anybody that could shoot 300 and set all the scoring records he did in Denver in '81, knows how to throw strikes under pressure.
I've bowled against him enough times to tell you he knows how to throw strikes under pressure. Gave that one more room.
One more badly, and he gets it. So Baker off the sheet for 193. Doesn't sound like a lot, but he may end up a winner in this one.
And he had 7 out of 12 strikes. Watch the 6-spin, second from the right. Just got that 10 out. Well, Williams did it in the first match. Can he do it twice in a row? Has to strike here to win. Oh, what a pretty shot to leave that solid 10. Now he has to pick this up and strike to tie. Tom Baker knows he can't lose except in a roll-off now.
Didn't even flinch, did he?
Boy, I'll tell you.
Bake's taking a look at the scoreboard, going to mop himself off a little bit and say, might be in overtime here in a moment or so. First job at hand to convert the spare. Now, does he make any adjustment, Michael, whatsoever on the right-hand lane after the shot he just threw?
No, in my opinion, you cannot make any adjustment for that. You just throw it in the same place and hope that those round objects all fall down instead of 9 of them.
Boy, tough to strike to win, even tougher to strike to tie.
Will it carry? Yes! Same place. Tom Baker is up. He's going to bowl on the left lane. It'll be a 9th and 10th frame situation. As we see this quality shot under pressure, it looks just the same as all his other shots. Watch the 6-pin. That's what we call a board 16 strike. That wasn't dead flush, but it was on board 16 and struck.
So Baker starts the sudden death on lane 33.
And Baker has to finish on lane 34 that he's been having trouble with. Ooh, the solid 10. Mark Williams changes chairs, looking at the rack saying, do I have a good one? Watch the 6-pin. Watch the 6-pin. Second from the right. It just didn't get close to that 10. Whack around.
There's something unfair about that.
I know it.
I don't know what it is.
It's very unfair. It's an unfair game.
Can't throw it any better than that. Gives it the all safe sign as he converts the 10. Oh, it's marvelous to have a sense of humor under all that pressure.
Now, he looks at that 10 pin and says, thank you.
He's hoping for a Buffalo Bills field goal there, right?
Live action. And 10 pin for 10 pin. Might say that Mark Williams was in a roll-off with Amleto Monticelli earlier this year and lost when Amleto got 60 against him. I mean, Mark got a couple strikes, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, whack, 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 right? 4 strikes and out the door.
At the 10 pin, no trouble.
Williams having the advantage, don't you think, of finishing first?
It's an advantage if he gets 3 strikes.
Oh, ever the diplomat, Mr. Durbin, on that call.
Boy, he takes so little time. He's just up there ready to go. A lot of room. Should have taken some more time. Boy, what a great break getting that 10 pin out of there. But now he's left the door wide open for Tommy Baker. We could have another tie here, Dan. This could go on all night.
When was the last time we had a double tie?
Watch the 10 pin here. Boy, that's a 210 hit all the way. He's going to go straight at this 2 pin.
But I'll tell you know what that shows me? Walks right up there and gives it room and says, hey, the only way I can strike is throw a nice free shot and get it a little bit right. I mean, a lot of guys are going to give it that Yankee Doodle dandy at that point.
Are you talking about me again?
No,
now?
I didn't say a word. Did I name anyone? All I'm saying is that that's a hard thing to do, especially when you know there's a touch of out of bounds out there. It's hard to aim at the out of bounds and draw it back in.
Needs this for 39. Boy, on to Brooklyn 38, forcing Tommy Baker to score 19. Somewhere he needs 9 spare strike to win. Strike on this first ball and 9 on the next 2 balls will do it. Pretty shot. Boy, was that pretty. That graphic said he needed 19 pins. That means he needs a spare 9, or he needs a strike on this ball and 9 on the next 2 balls, and he's a winner. So if he strikes, if he gets 9 on this first ball, that's enough. The only thing that could hurt him now would be some kind of split.
Earl Baker with 3 clutch strikes to finish the match and garner the tie with a beautiful shot there.
And Mr. Pressure got outdone by another Mr. Pressure. Good speed.
Yep.
That's enough right there. The old solid 10.
Never so happy to see it, right?
Right. Doesn't mind it at all right there.
So Baker, in extra innings, defeats Mark Williams. Williams finishes up, and we'll be back with a special report when we come back.
With special low rates from Avis, you can afford to pack up the entire family for a great vacation. Avis, we try harder to make it easier. For business people on the rise, things are looking up. With great low rates from Avis, you'll really impress them at your next meeting. Avis, we try harder to make it easier.
Staying on top is not easy. You have to give 110% and expect it from yourself, everyone, everything. Speed Stick deodorant gives 110%. That's its edge. Why? It has no alcohol, and alcohol evaporates. Speed Stick protection doesn't evaporate even after 24 hours. Glides on dry in just a few strokes. That's 110% protection.
Speed Stick deodorant, the wide stick.
That's your edge.
When the Chicago Cubs acquired pitcher Mitch Williams from the Texas Rangers during the winter, little did they expect the left-hander to arrive with some extra baggage. But he did, and the secret to his success just might be found in one bag. That's right, the one bag that contains his bowling ball.
Last Tuesday, Mitch Williams pitched 2 2/3 innings, retired 7 batters, and recorded his 15th save of the year. After he finished playing peekaboo and hardball with the Mets that night, Williams decided to tackle his other favorite sport the next day. Venturing from his New York hotel, he headed out to the crowded streets in search of a bowling center. Yes, Mitch Williams, the Cubs' ace reliever, carries his very own bowling ball and shoes on the road. It's a pastime he discovered only a few months ago during the off-season.
This winter, my wife and I were out one evening with a couple of friends of ours, and we went out to dinner and didn't have anything to do afterwards, so we just went. And we ended up going back quite a bit after that just because we enjoyed ourselves so much. And then I started to throw to get ready for spring training, and then found out that my elbow didn't have the pain in it that it has every year when I throw in the winter. And I think it was directly attributed to the bowling.
Williams says his average is 180 and his high game is 248. He bowls whenever he can with any teammate who will go along. Calvin Schiraldi has bowled with Mitch in the offseason.
He thinks he's a little better than he really is, but he's all right. He's not bad, and I wouldn't say he's going to be on the pro tour anytime soon, but he does all right.
Number 28 gets tips from a former PBA bowler in Texas. Although he says bowling is therapeutic, he's still in search of that elusive 300 game.
I was one of those guys, I mean, I just threw the ball hard. Would try and make popcorn out of the pins, and it's just not, you don't have to work that hard at it. I mean, it's a tough game to pick up, but once you learn the release point of the ball, it becomes easier, and then you come out, you have to keep doing it, because it's not a sport you can pick up for a week and then put down for 2 months and come back out and do it.
The bullpen ace acknowledges that bowling and baseball make strange bedfellows, but adds that the combination works for him both physically and mentally.
He has allowed 8 of the... I went through a spurt earlier in the year where I wasn't throwing the ball well and I didn't bowl at all. And Zim told me to go back and bowl because my arm feels a lot better when I do bowl. It's just a matter of finding time to get out and do it.
And the Cubs pitching coach has no problems with Mitch's hobby, at least for now.
I just feel whatever floats your boat, you know, and maybe right now he thinks and he relies on bowling a little bit, and if that's what it takes to save us ball games, then he can bowl 10 games a day if he wants to.
Williams is only in his 4th year in the major leagues. He's obviously hoping for more time on the mound where it's easier to adjust to the conditions. But what about bowling life after baseball?
I think it could be fun. When I'm all done with baseball and I have the time to work at it enough. I mean, these guys are bowling 100 games a week, and it's something you really have to put a lot of time into.
Well, the National League doesn't have a designated hitter, but it may have a designated bowler. Oh, there he is, the top seed, Pete Weber. And we'll be back to chat with our top seed. Mike Durbin will converse with him when we return here to Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl.
If you've got yourself a car and you've got yourself a house, you could be on your way to some very nice savings. Because with Allstate Homeowners Insurance and an excellent driving record, you could save up to 15% on your auto insurance. And 15% could mean big money for all the important little things.
What a day.
What a day. The Allstate Auto Advantage. Another reason. A member of the Sears Financial Network. You don't have to be a professional athlete to know the importance of including whole grains in your diet. But of these leading cereals, only one is made with 100% whole grain. Only Wheaties. So only Wheaties has the whole grain nutrition you want, no matter what field you're in. Just ask Oral Hershiser. Better get your whole grain.
Better eat your Wheaties.
It's a colorful July on ESPN. America's finest young athletes go for the gold at the U.S. Olympic Festival. The world's greatest golfers shoot for the green in the British Open and U.S. Women's Open Championships. It's 3 cheers for the red, white, and blue in a Davis Cup duel, while future major leaguers burst into the limelight at the AAA All-Star Game. Plus, see who earns the yellow jersey in the Tour de France. There's a full spectrum of sports in July on ESPN.
With me is the tournament leader, Pete Weber. Pete, you've had some troubles in the past. How are things going in your life right now?
Well, things couldn't be going much better. I'm coming off the spring tour, bowling really well, 2 finals and a not-so-good tournament. But I'm back, I'm throwing the ball good, and things are going great.
You're 26 years old. You've already won over $1 million. You won the Triple Crown of bowling. 26, you're just 1 year older than when I started. You're 4 years younger than when Anthony started. What's left for Pete Weber to accomplish?
Well, I think there's a couple things yet. I think Bowler of the Year is in order for me. I think I should have won that a couple years ago, but that's all right. There'll be other years for that. And again, I think I want to catch Dad in titles here. He's got 26, and this is my 10th year. He's been out, 26, 27 now, and I think if I get to that many years, I'll be able to catch him in titles.
Well, if you win today, this will be 13. He's got 26. Have you got a timetable set for when you want to catch him?
Before I retire, that's about all I can say on that one.
Okay. You're going to maybe wind up bowling Marshall Holman in this title match. I've noticed that you guys had some good matches in the past. You're 4-1 with him. Is there anything special if you bowl Marshall?
No, there's nothing special. I'll bowl him just like I bowled him all week. He's a great bowler. I mean, the 2 games I bowled him this week, he bowled a great game and just didn't get any breaks. So he might turn that around today.
One last question, Pete. When I think of Pete Weber, I think of confident, I think of aggressive, something that would be just perfect for the championship match. Come out and whip that one off. Yet you're only 2-10 from the number 1 position. How do you explain that?
Well, the number 1 position's haunted me in the past. Like you said, I've only won twice from the number 1. But I feel comfortable with it now. This is the 3rd tournament this year I've led, so I'm starting to feel comfortable with it, and I think I might win again today from the number 1.
And you won at the PBA National, right?
That's right.
Okay, don't you dare touch that remote button. We're going to be back with Tommy Baker bowling the great Marshall Holman. Stay with us.
Stroh's Light. Now in a new package. Stroh's beer now comes in a brand new can. A brand new 6-pack. A brand new 12-pack. A brand new 24-pack. And a brand new 11,000-pack.
Osborne Boat Sales, one of the world's largest Mercruiser dealers, has opened a new store in Lancaster County featuring fishing boats, runabouts, and cruisers by Sea Nymph, Celebrity, and Larson. Osborne's 18 years experience in providing top-notch customer service on Mercruiser-powered boats is the reason you have to shop at Osborne's before you buy. They're located on Route 272, 1 mile north of the Brownstown exit off of Route 222. Osborne's, your authorized Mercruiser dealer, is now in Lancaster County.
Last year, Ebonite took you to a new plateau of excellence on Oily Lane with the Thunderbolt. Now the Thunder rolls on with the new Thunderbolt MD for medium to dry lanes. The same devastating power core and an exclusive new MD cover that makes it hunt down the pocket and hit harder with less deflection on medium to dry lanes. Make some thunder of your own. Ask your pro about the Thunderbolt MD from Ebonite.
What do you have? Give me 2 pizza pastas, chili dog. Excuse me. Gus, 1 minute. Sorry.
Give me 2 pizza pastas, chili dog, a large.
Yes, Lord. Gus, I told you, to be hot dog kings, we need lots of Bud Light. Not full blood?
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
Now what do you think? It's beautiful.
Because everything else is just a light.
Hey, what about my pizza pasta?
A pair of PBA veterans, Tom Baker and Marshall Holman, in the semifinal game of the $130,000 Kessler Open, the 8th year that Kessler has sponsored a tournament. Of course, in 2 weeks, we have the Kessler Classic in Riverside.
Well, Marshall said that all he wants to do is beat his last performance on TV, which was 134, so I think he's going to do that.
We'll have to keep our numbers expert, Chuck Pierce, on the top of that one. When he gets past 134, we'll blow the whistle. Oh, good opening shot, leaves the 10.
This is his 97th television appearance. I mean, that's unbelievable. Marshall Holman looking at that solid 10.
That's the yuck look right there, leaving a solid 10. It's like, that ball's hitting like silly putty again.
A poker face, he's not.
Oh, no. Emotions are always on the sleeve, whether it's a short sleeve or not. And now we have one of the technicians waltzing down lane 40, and Holman backs off.
Gives him one of the famous Holman looks.
Yep. That's not a look, it's a stare, maybe a glare.
It would be even worse if he misses his 10 pin.
Yep. Watch out for flying objects. Marshall waltzes back to the bench. Never in much of a hurry.
Except when he goes to the foul line, then he goes pretty quick.
Yeah. First shot for Tom Baker, a survivor, as it were. Tied Mark Williams at 193, and then defeated him 39-38 in the sudden death roll-off.
Time. Good thing he didn't make that shot, the first one of the 10th. He'd have lost.
Emotional letdown, Mike, after the clutch win. Do you come back a little flat or no?
The break in between games, you know, sometimes it just takes a while to get the adrenaline flowing again. Yeah, a little bit of a letdown, I would say, Dan. 3-6-10. Tommy's shooting from the outside. It makes it easily.
So a spare up for both of our contestants here in the semifinal game. The winner moves on to the championship match against our tournament leader, Pete Weber. The loser goes home early.
Solid 10. Pretty shot. We've been looking at a lot of those solid 10s. We talked about it at the top of the show. Those corner pins been standing all week long. The excitement of that last match, it's like we got a subdued crowd right now. We've got to re-energize them.
Mm-hmm. Something tells me that Marshall will come up with something to entertain the fans.
He usually does.
You can count on that. So Baker, who missed a 10-pin in game number 1, knocks it off here on lane 33.
Heels hanging over the end. High. 3-6-10 again. So they both left 3-6-10s. The only difference is Marshall loses the count. Marshall has a way of throwing very hard in a little spin shot at a lot of his spares. He looked back and said to me, it was off spot. I noticed that when the machine set the 6-pin down, that the 6-pin was slightly off spot to the left. He could have covered this perfectly and not made the 3-6-10. That's why when he saw the ball arcing, see the 6-pin sitting closer to the 3 than it is the 10. It should be right in the middle.
Yep.
You could chop it from that point, and he knew it as the ball was hitting the pins and said, "No."
Back to live action in the 3rd. Looking for his first strike. A little high, and he takes out the 4-pin.
The great Marshall Holman in his style. Watch how steady the head is, and then watch how long the slide is. And as he's sliding, he lets it go and then keeps sliding. The only bowler on tour that does that.
That was purposely thrown a little left of target. Perhaps he's changing his angles a little bit.
And just tightening up the line rather than looping it some.
A little inconsistent when you throw that loop shot.
So we got a lot of guys out here who throw that loop shot, Danny. I never could. I mean...
You're telling me you can't relate to that?
No, I was always like that last shot Tommy threw, that tight line.
Mm-hmm.
For the lead. To increase the lead. And does.
Big double for Baker in the 3rd and the 4th. So he applies the vice grip to Marshall Holman here in the semifinal game of the $130,000 Kessler.
You don't have to be country to know great country taste. Introducing McDonald's new country-style McChicken sandwich. You don't have to play country to enjoy all-white breast meat in a crisp country coating. You don't have to fiddle, pluck, or squeeze to see how great those special country seasonings taste. New country-style McChicken, only.
My athlete's foot kept flaring up. I'd put it out, and it'd just flare up again. Then my doctor told me about Tinactin. It cures recurring athlete's foot. Use it regularly, and it'll keep the fire from coming back.
Tinactin puts the fire out for good.
Many men have sensitive skin that's irritated by shaving. Aftershave Skin Conditioner is clinically proven to soothe and relieve razor-straight skin. Sensible care for sensitive skin. After.
By Naaman.
Back to live action here at Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl in Dublin, California. Mitch Williams, that outstanding relief pitcher for the Cubbies that we did the special bowling piece on. Guess what? He got into the lineup tonight against Pittsburgh on the road. Cubbies won. Pittsburgh nothing. Williams records save number 18, and more than likely there'll be highlights on SportsCenter.
Needs a double. Needs it badly. Didn't get there. Went high on the previous shot. Light on this. Leaves the 2-pin. He's just somewhat lost on lane 34. The ball doesn't make it back like he wants it to. Marshall, whose television record over the years is 59-77, is trailing again. That's why that shot was really, I think, very, very important. Because he can get into a bad frame of mind. Sometimes all these past experiences where you've had bad things happen to you come flooding back when you get into these pressure situations.
Well, it's such a mental game, especially for an athlete that's as gifted as Marshall is physically through the years. He's had just a tremendous advantage with his physical game, and obviously he's trying to become a bit more optimistic, but it's tough when you throw shots like that last one. Trying to get back on the board. That one looks as good as gold, and he strikes from the fifth. So left-hand lane appears to be a pretty good one for him.
And what's interesting was he originally picked to finish on the left lane. At the last minute, he was hitting the right lane better, so he switched it now, and now he can't hit the right lane. That's the game of bowling. All of us can relate to that. They hit the one lane and lose it. And
Baker now in the fifth.
I made a career of doing that.
Yeah.
Good speed.
Trying to keep the pressure on with a quality shot there and stopped short by the solid 10. We don't mean to sound redundant, but there have been a lot this week.
The old equalizer there. They say the solid 8 is the only true tap in bowling, and I never have believed that. Those 10 pins are taps. I don't care what anybody says.
Trouble is, you used to leave the 5 a lot with that 8.
Oh, hush your mouth.
All right, Bake's cross lane on 34. Boy, we almost had another Baker on the telecast. Mark Baker, who won here in 1987, just missing.
Lost that last game to Norm Duke. They were tied going into that last game, and Duke beat him. Good tight match.
Amazing statistic to pass along here. After the qualifying, opening round of match play, there were 181 pins between 5th place and 24th place in this event. That means anybody that got hot in match play could have made the telecast. Very close indeed all week, and a real dogfight for the telecast. This one up a little high, doesn't trip the 4.
Keeps it a 10-pin match. Marshall has the opportunity now, stepping up in the 6th frame to even this match.
Trying to get a little comfortable there before this key shot in the 6th.
Trying to figure out what to do on lane 34.
Yeah.
3, 6, 10 to 2-pin. What goes flooding through a bowler's mind when that happens is no area. And when that flashes like a neon sign in the frontals of your mind, then it has a way of affecting that release.
In other words, you can't throw it right, you can't throw it left.
But if you throw it perfect, it'll get there. But
and then you leave the solid 10.
It's possible.
Let's see if he doubles.
Gave it a lot of room. And it came back. Boy, he threw that one wider.
Match is even Steven.
Watch this shot. See that heavy lift that he gives out to about the 2nd board down the lane. Never a doubt. Our ground floor action here. Camera. Boy, the 9-pin was up there a long time, wasn't it? Marshall says, are you going to carry? Well, yes, certainly you are. Thank you. This is to take the lead on a lane he's hit 2 consecutive times. A lot of room again. And it came back. Animated Marshall.
Oh, that's nothing yet.
No, I know it isn't.
So a big, big turkey now for Holman, who leads by 10. Doesn't get much better than this. Will Tommy Baker come back? Well, you come back, and we'll find out.
With special low rates from Avis, you can afford to pack up the entire family for a great vacation. Avis, we try harder to make it easier. For business people on the rise, things are looking up. With great low rates from Avis, you'll really impress them at your next meeting. Avis, we try harder to make it easier.
At Bic, we've been studying all the ways that you pull and stretch your face in search of a better shave. Now Bic presents our solution, introducing the new Bic Metal Shaver. The patented Bic Metal stretches and smooths your skin thanks to its unique metal guard bar, so the shaver glides closely and comfortably. Now, instead of stretching, start reaching for a new Bic Metal Shaver. It stretches your skin for a better shave, and that's no stretch.
Sports Center, 11:30 Eastern Time. On the eve of his court hearing, Pete Rose hears more allegations about supposed gambling. I'll talk with former Commissioner Bowie Kuhn about the case and Ricky Henderson, a major trade. Dan Patrick and I at 11:30.
A look at the history of this particular event at Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl.
Wayne Webb won. I was on that show back in 1984. Then Tony Cariello. The doubles team of Houston and Baker won in 86 and 87, and young Brian Alpert stole the show with winning 3 games in a row last year.
Remember how well he bowled here last year?
What did he shoot, about 750?
Oh, yeah, just struck at will. Baker trailing by 10, and he needs to get something started here. Holman's on a turkey.
He's got it in the pocket. This one carries. So right now we're headed into the 8th frame. 3 frames left in this match, and if Baker strikes here, we'll be all even. Tommy Baker, who just makes a living throwing every ball in the pocket, asked for a re-rack on lane 33, one of his 2. I noticed that with only 2 re-racks a game, Denny, the obvious observation is we have a lot less re-racks.
Well, you save them too, don't you?
Well, yeah, you got to save one for that 10th frame if you need it. To even the match. The old trip 4. Billy Hardwick sitting there smiling at that one. So is Pete Tontis as we watch the 2-pin, 3rd from the left, get both the 4 and the 7 to even this match. Tommy Baker says, look at the eyes, and he smacks the hand. That's a lot of emotion from Tommy Baker.
Sure is. But a key double.
And Marshall, who sent the last one wide and got it back, will he send this one wide again? Best shot of the match right there.
Some clutch bowling that time by Holman. Beautiful strike for him in the 8th, and he's back on top by 10.
And watch him. He's purposely sending it wide, out to about the 2nd board. That one got to about 3. And it just roared back in that same place in the 1-3 pocket with all 10 pins going in the pit. Took another re-rack. He is out of re-racks. That's his 2nd.
Shoot 257 if he strikes out in the 9th and the 10th.
But if he doesn't strike here, Baker can strike out and lock him out. Even room again. Here it comes. Oh, pretty shot.
Oh, they got the Sorrow move that time. He's starting to get a little excited with that key shot in the 9th.
20-pin lead. Marshall, who trusts it out there about the 4th board, just knocks the 2-pin, clip the 4 going over. He says, yes. Zip, zip. Baker must have this strike here. He's got to have this one. Will it hold? Yes.
Intensity level picking up a little bit here in Dublin, California.
We were talking how tough these lanes were. These guys say, we've made the adjustment, fellas. That's why we're down here bowling, and you're up there talking.
Baker takes it off the sheet. He shoots 247.
We could have another time.
Already had one. Baker and Mark Williams tying at 193. Baker the survivor in that one.
10-pin match. Fiddling with that grip again. Last time he did that, he left the 210. Looks good. Boy, was it ever good. This is just quality bowling. This is PBA bowling at its absolute best, Denny. Even match right now.
Almost a nonchalant look that time from Baker with the first shot in the 10th.
Believe me, I've watched this man strike out to beat me enough times, so I know he can do it.
You and a bunch of other people.
Yes, that's true. This is to take the lead. sets it up, though, that Marshall is going to need a strike. If he converts this, he finishes with 236. A tie is a distinct possibility, but Marshall will need the first hit of the 10th to win. He's saying, carry. He knows this is for the lead. Oh, and the 10 pin just didn't fall. 236, excellent game. Very well bowled game, very professional.
Threw the shot in the pocket when he had to in the 11. Just couldn't carry the 10.
The situation is this. If Marshall strikes, he's a winner. 9, he needs a spare and a strike to tie. Anything less, he loses. Marshall says there's no way.
Wow, Baker shakes his head in disbelief. An excellent shot by Holman, and that one goes about 45 feet before it hits the lane. A little upset, and I would say rightfully so. An excellent shot by Holman, and he leads the pocket 7-10. So Holman finishes up, shoots 233, and it's not good enough. It'll be Baker and Weber. But before we get to that match, of course, the bowling news next in line here on ESPN, the PBA Summer Tour.
You know, ball players learn superstitions early. Some guys rub their bats for luck.
Good job.
Some guys always wear rally hats. Others bet the catcher's head. Me, I take my relief pitcher to Pizza Hut before every game.
Now buy a Pizza Hut pizza and get a relief pitcher for just $2.49. Then get free Pepsi fill-ups all summer with any dinner-sized pizza to go. Every pitcher sold helps support Little League of America.
With a great relief pitcher, maybe you don't need superstitions.
Pizza Hut, making it great.
Fuss with shampoo and conditioner? Who needs it? I want to wash my hair and go. And now I can with Pert Plus. Complete shampoo plus complete conditioner in one bottle. Pert Plus leaves my hair clean, conditioned, and looking terrific. Before, to get results this good, I used shampoo and conditioner. No more. Now, with Pert Plus, I just wash and go.
Pert Plus, shampoo plus complete conditioner in one.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Bowling News, brought to you by Pizza Hut, home of pan pizza that's winning the hearts of America. Welcome back to Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl in Dublin, California. And the touring professionals on the PBA Tour went back to work earlier this week. And despite the fact that Mike Albee is down at the BPAA convention in Orlando, Florida, he still leads the money list here after 20 national touring events. Let's take a look at that top 10. Albee, with 4 victories already this year, is holding steady with earnings in excess of $279,000. Del Ballard Jr. is number 2, while our top seed this week, Pete Weber, along with Brian Voss and Randy Peterson, currently round out the top 5. Meanwhile, holding down the number 6 position is talented Amleto Monticelli, while Walter Ray Williams Jr., Jess Stayrook, Dave Ferraro, and Bob Benoit currently fill out the remainder of the top 10. Pete Weber didn't do anything to hurt his chances and also his PBA national high average this week by averaging 221 on the season now at 216.90. The most recent Triple Crown winner is more than a pin ahead of Mike Albee, while Jess Stayrook, Del Ballard, and Parker Bone III are all above the plus 213 range. Every 4 years, the FIQ, which is the International Amateur Bowling Organization, stages zonal championships. This year, there were teams representing 16 countries from North, South, and Central America. And, of course, they bowled down in Wichita, Kansas. Now, the American ladies and men dominated that record-setting event. Here's a look at how it stacked up. One special note to be passed along. The Dominican Republic has just one 8-lane bowling center in the entire country. Only 200 players overall, and yet they defeated the powerful United States in the team event. So congratulations to the Dominican Republic. And one player who had an outstanding FIQ championship round was our special guest this week, Linda Norrie. Linda is currently the BWAA Collegiate Woman Bowler of the Year. She's a member of Team USA and certainly one of the most talented amateur players anywhere in the United States. And Linda, the first question for you, what kind of an experience was it for you to get a chance to bowl in the FIQ against some international competition?
It was a great chance to bowl against the top amateurs from other countries. I experienced a lot of international friendliness, and we had a great time both on and off the lanes, meeting everybody, and the competition was really good.
All right, at 21 years of age, you're the youngest member of Team USA, the Bambino of sorts, I guess. And what's it like to be a member of Team USA, some outstanding players there?
It's a great experience. I'm learning something new every time we travel. I get to see other countries, other sites. It's just a great experience all around.
All right, and for those of you who don't already know this, Linda is now in her junior year at San Jose State University. Just last week, she, of course, was named to the first-team All-America squad. You've had 3 years to compete nationally among the collegiate ranks. What's that done for your game? Are you a better player now because you've had a chance to compete all over the country?
Yes, the lane conditions are a big factor. I've hit different lane conditions that I would have never hit if I had bowled collegiately. I've learned a lot about mental aspects that I never knew about between our coaches at San Jose State and other players. And the friendliness is really open down there.
All right, one final question for you right now. It may be a little early to talk about this, but with what you've already accomplished as an amateur, is there a professional career down the road when you graduate from college?
Yeah, I've thought about that, and I'm looking at sponsors and possible things, but I want to graduate out of college and get my career going first and settle down, and then I'll look into it.
All right, well, congratulations on a marvelous 1989, and good luck in all the events that you bowl in this year.
Thank you.
And, of course, if she needs a sponsor, Chuck Pisano and myself might just put up the money before it's all said and done. That's a look at bowling news this week from Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl in Dublin, California. Back with more right after these messages.
You know, ball players learn superstitions early. Some guys rub their bats for luck.
Good job.
Some guys always wear rally hats. Others bet the catcher's head. Me, I take my relief pitcher to Pizza Hut before every game.
Now buy a Pizza Hut pizza and get a relief pitcher for just $2.49. Then get free Pepsi fill-ups all summer with any dinner-size pizza to go. Every pitcher sold helps support Little League of America.
With a great relief pitcher, maybe you don't need superstitions.
Pizza Hut, making it great.
Well, just Weber and Baker left here in Dublin, California. Should be an interesting title match.
Well, at the top of the show, I said, watch out for Tommy Baker, and he's come through under those pressure situations, looking for victory number 8.
And, of course, Weber looking for championship round victory number 13. Your thoughts about the title match? Pete is only 2-10.
Well, I'll tell you, the bowlers are paying me now not to pick anyone. You know, so I don't want to jinx anyone. I tell you, Tommy Baker's lined in practice balls. Pete Weber has been having trouble getting the ball back from the gutter, so edge to Baker, I would think.
I wonder if Weber was hoping to bowl Holman, if he'll be a letdown to bowl Baker.
No, I don't think it's a letdown to bowl anyway. He knows he's got to bowl a good game to beat Tommy.
All right, now let's take a look at the finishers 6 through 24 as they rolled out this week in Dublin, California. Mark Baker, as I mentioned, the alternate. Dave Husted, a former champion here.
Hugh Miller, the top lefty in the field. Rod Pasteur, another lefty. Al Stoneham, local player here. Dennis Horan bowled very well in the morning blocks. Dave Arnold in the finals very frequently. 300, Bob Benoit. Steve Cook there. Rowdy Morrow. Tony Westlake, another good follow-through. Hook and Bob Hanley. Steve Hardy, a lefty in the finals again. George Branham there. Andy Nyer, Philip Ringener, Roger Haskell. And bringing up their 4 finals in a row, George Pappas.
Ah, your old buddy, the General. We'll be back with Pete Weber and Tom Baker as they'll bowl for the title and $20,000 right after this.
The new leader in trucks, Hamilton GMC, with over 300 new and used trucks in stock, is going all out to earn your business. During the month of May, when you purchase any new GMC truck, you'll get an unbreakable bug shield free. Yes, free, and that's not all. Trade in a 1970 to 83 truck and receive a $200 bonus check. That's right, $200 for your used truck. So come in and meet our staff and get your free bug shield and a $200 bonus check at Hamilton GMC Trucks, where trucks are our only business.
Here's an invitation to all area bikers to take part in the MS 150-mile Harpers Ferry Happening Bike Tour. It leaves Mechanicsburg High School in Pennsylvania July 29th and ends in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, July 30th. Features on the historic route are lodging, support vehicles, and lots of food. Call the MS hotline, 652-2108. Join these bikers on one of the top tours in the country. Funds raised benefit the MS Society.
Air conditioners,
Builder Square. We buy by the trainload. Direct from top manufacturers. There's no middleman, no frills, no membership fees. And at Builder Square, we won't be undersold. Ever. Builder Square, where the values keep rolling on. Because the more we sell, the lower the price.
Right now, all over America, people are busy getting their homes ready for you to come see them. It's part of Better Homes and Gardens' celebration of the American home. A celebration that's all about helping you find the home you've been looking for. In fact, this Sunday we'll be having thousands of open houses, and you're invited. Find out about homes and special events in your area by calling your local Better Homes and Gardens member firm. Join us for Better Homes and Gardens' celebration of the American home.
One would suspect that the numbers would be with Pete Weber here in the championship game. He's only 2-10 from the top seed position, but Tom Baker will try and change those numbers.
Are you saying the law of averages is on Pete's side?
Exactly.
.210 right out of the gate. He did this in the last match. Just got off that kind of slow start, even though he didn't start with a split last time. We saw this can be made by Mark Williams earlier in the opening match. Hit that 2-pin on the left, slide it over in the 10. I would say the odds are about 5-1. Boy, I thought he had it far enough left and the ball just kind of stopped. He thought he did too.
Weber up quickly. Mops off the lane conditioner, and he never wastes much time getting into a title match.
Well, he said confident and aggressive. And striking.
Got to feel better after that opening strike, though.
You feel better, but you feel better yet after the opening double. 5-step delivery. That very, very high backswing. See that steady head. Now look how high that backswing goes. It's unbelievable. But the leverage he generates, short third, 4-step there, and then snaps through that thing with heavy, heavy fingers. Here it comes. Oh, boy. He threw it awful pretty, I'll tell you.
Yeah, he liked it when he let it go and just kind of waited to see if he would leave the solid 10, and he did.
Age 24, he won 10 titles. I hadn't even started on the tour at 24.
Youngest player ever to win the Firestone Tournament of Champions. Up until he had won that, Marshall Holman was the youngest at 25. And Pete, of course, coming up with a big victory when he was only 24. Now has the Triple Crown as well. Well, he really chronicled his career. There's not much left to accomplish other than Bowler of the Year.
Bullet hole. Yes! The old trip 4 into the 9 routine. He's got the nicest smile. Now watch that 2-pin hit the 4. And the 4 falls and hits the 9.
Yes, that's the Durbin domino effect there.
He waves a little hand at it.
That'll lengthen your career if you carry that a few times.
For the double.
Now, I know one thing. His wife Lisa's probably jumping up and down in Buffalo right now, along with those other Baker Buffalo fans.
And Tommy says, Pete, you had your handicap. The opener in the first frame. That's it. Has to hurry.
Well, you doubted that one might get back?
Well, he has left a couple 210s and pocket 710s on these lanes in practice. Same, we saw Marshall do that.
Now he's pumped up, though. Get an extra revolution or two to turn the corner.
That's true. Will it carry? Yes.
Well, the way he's throwing the ball, he could have started with the first 4. He leads by 11 as he runs this one out. But don't run away, because we'll be back with more of the championship game right after this.
With special low rates from Avis, you can afford to pack up the entire family for a great vacation. Avis, we try harder to make it easier. For business people on the rise, things are looking up. With great low rates from Avis, you'll really impress them at your next meeting. Avis, we try harder to make it easier.
So you think you've got big athlete's foot problems? Like that annoying itching? Or that awful burning? Well, Bigfoot problems call for Bigfoot relief from Desenex.
Desenex stops the painful itching, cracking, and burning of athlete's foot fast.
And Desenex guarantees you'll be satisfied or your money back.
Money back?
That's right, your money back.
Desenex, the #1 cure for athlete's foot.
It's a colorful July on ESPN. America's finest young athletes go for the gold at the U.S. Olympic Festival. The world's greatest golfers shoot for the green in the British Open and U.S. Women's Open Championships. It's 3 cheers for the red, white, and blue in a Davis Cup duel, while future major leaguers burst into the limelight at the AAA All-Star Game. Plus, see who earns the yellow jersey in the Tour de France. There's a full spectrum of sports in July on ESPN.
An interested onlooker, Marty Howard, Kessler Whiskey Marketing Manager on hand. Enjoyed the action here last year, and his good buddy Jack McPhee, the Kessler Whiskey State Manager. And Kessler, you can't say enough about those fine sponsors. They've done a lot for the PBA, especially on the summer tour. We'll be with them again in 2 weeks in Riverside. But, of course, next week it's off to the Great Northwest and the $150,000 Seattle Open, live at 9:30 Eastern Time. And well, they do a great job with that event.
Dave Pardee and his brother Ron?
Yep. Really enjoy the professionals coming in, and PBA Tour has gone to Seattle for many, many, many years. Baker on a double, trailing by 11, could really slice into that lead if he can strike on the right-hand lane, and he gets kind of the half-10 there, 6-pin, a little lazy.
Yeah, the in-between hit. He just didn't catch it enough with the fingers. Cross lane at the 10-pin, no trouble.
Of course, for you PBA trivia buffs, and I had the opportunity to watch this great event when Pete Weber and Tommy Baker met head-to-head in match play in 1981 in Denver. They both shot 300, and at that time, they set a national record.
It was Pete against Tommy.
Oh, yeah. They remember each other very well. Baker with a re-rack on lane 33, his first of the championship game.
That particular week when they bowled at 300 versus 300, Tommy won the tournament, averaged 247 for 42 games.
He'd like to have a couple of those strikes right now. Slower speed, swishes the rack, and he strikes in the 5th to kind of stay in ball.
The ball makes it back for him on that left lane. The right lane, it kind of hangs there. He has to get it up a little more flush in the pocket to carry.
That's been a characteristic for all the players, don't you think, on the right-hand lane?
Appears to be, yes. Well, you saw the ball so pure. It's just everybody tonight has been making quality shots, but Pete seems to be a cut above. Again, the high backswing and the heavy fingers at the bottom. Good follow through, and that ball was a strike from the moment it left his hand. The old eyes, do you see the eyes widen there?
Well, that label's turning over, isn't it? Trying to make it 4 in a row. Here comes the head pin. Uh-oh, he's flexing. Oh, no. The Arnold Schwarzenegger look at the line.
Oh, yes.
A bodybuilder he's not. Huh? Weber, what, weighs 135 pounds at best?
Soaking wet. Tom Baker, though, is in the position now. He's got to strike here to keep himself in this match. He must strike.
He normally does in that position. Oh, this time he can't get the tickle, and the 4-pin stands.
And he's in big trouble. Now 32 pins and only 4 frames to go.
To a guy that's throwing rockets from the corner, that's doing nothing but label in the pocket. Yeah, you're right.
At the 4-pin, has it easily.
Trying to remain calm and take it one shot at a time.
And
don't forget, coming up right after this championship round match, Bob Lee, Dan Patrick standing by for Sports Center, and the topic of discussion this evening, the fans here in the Bay Area very interested to know that Ricky Henderson is back with the Oakland A's.
Back where he started, huh?
Yep.
You're into potentials already. Tom Baker, if he strikes all the way out, can finish with 238, and he almost needs to do that. And he kind of gives it away. Bad shot, 3-6-10. He just falls further behind. This match is almost over.
We're in the 6th frame.
Well, the best time he can get if he makes this and strikes out is 225. Anything can happen. Has it easily.
Cleans up the 3-6-10, down by 35, and Weber will try and add to that large lead.
The only thing that can hurt Pete now is if he happened to dip one in or start playing defensive all of a sudden instead of being aggressive like he's been for the first 6 frames.
Don't think that word's in his vocabulary. Oh, my. And he Yankee doodled that one for the Greek church. Rubs the brow, and rightfully so. He's...
Well, if
it was Baker right back into this one.
Pump life into Tom Baker.
Oh, my.
This is it. You can see this ball is a good 2 to 3 boards left to target. It's the 5th or 6th board there as he fires at the 3, 6, 9, 10. He's way left to target. He's just hoping for some kind of good break here, and he gets no good break. 5 and 8 out, and suddenly a 35-pin lead turns into... Well, we're still trying to figure it out here, getting our computers working, and I don't think that's right either. It's like a 16-pin lead to me. High again, 3, 6, 10. And I think he did just what we said that word wasn't in his vocabulary. Suddenly he just started playing defensive.
You think?
Yes, I do.
Boy,
he's so far ahead, and because both those shots...
Both were left. Yeah, you're right.
And he was just filling frames rather than striking.
Wow.
Good spare shooter.
He's made it a little more interesting for fans around the country, and for Tommy Baker, all of a sudden, he sees new life, and let's see if he can take advantage of that situation.
Well, the interesting situation here, he was out of the match, and he didn't even throw a shot. If he strikes twice here now, he puts real pressure on Pete Weber. Will it carry? Yes. Biggest shot of the week coming up right here. He wants to win the Kessler PBA Open here in Dublin, California. He must strike on this ball. Pete Weber knows that he has let, quote, the proverbial tuna out of the pond here, and he is just not even watching.
That Greek church in the 7th, may just come back to haunt him before this one's all over.
Good speed. Will it make it? No. Whoa. Is he going to get it over? Oh.
Petey looked up and in disbelief said, oh no, don't let the 2-pin fall last for the double.
He came in way behind. He was high the last time. Pin came off the sideboard and almost got the 4-pin knocking over the 2. Still 16 pins down with his conversion. He needs another mistake by Weber. Boy, he had a chance there with a strike there. I'll tell you, he was potential 225, and Pete Weber he had him hanging.
Bob Lee, Dan Patrick with all the scores around the league. Interesting information concerning that big trade earlier today. Ricky Henderson heading back to the Oakland A's. Weber right now. A la Marshall Holman almost left the pocket 7-10. The key question now, has Dick Weber kicked in his television in St. Louis?
Watch the 5-pin and the head pin. The 5 goes behind the 7-pin. The head pin goes in front of it. The head pin did come back over and get the 10. And Weber says, safe.
I'll take it. So Weber steals home there as the 5-pin comes over. Oh, boy.
And if my addition is correct here, Pete Weber needs to count somehow 16 in the 10th frame. He needs to get a mark, some kind of spare or strike. A strike would wrap it up right away. But he could get 8, spare 8, anything like that, it would be a winner.
That's a winner. Well, if you're going to win, that's the way that you want to wrap it up, with a strike in the 10th, and Baker, who was way out of the match early, had a second life and nearly pulled it off.
Pete now needs 6 pins on 2 balls. But to show you how big that shot was in the 9th frame that Baker threw, if he strikes there, no matter what Petey does here, Tom could have struck out and won the match.
A high hard one from Pete Weber, who breathes a sigh of relief as Weber wins the $130,000 Kessler Open. And of course, we'll collect a check worth $20,000, the first smile we've seen from Pete since early on in this match.
Well, he kind of stumbled to the finish line there, but he made it.
Well, it's like a great miler. If you get far enough ahead with that quarter-mile left, you can kind of stretch it out as long as you cross the line before the rest of them catch up to you. So Weber with a big victory here to start the summer tour. Told me coming in, I'm bowling as well as I ever have in my life, and I really feel like I might be able to get something started. Meanwhile, for Tom Baker, a second-place finish, a valiant effort from Baker as he was pleased as punch to get a chance to get to the championship round. And the final score in the championship game, 210 to 182. We'll be back to chat with Pete Weber, our newest champion on the PBA Summer Tour, right after this.
It's just a pure and natural beer. Some icy cold, so crisp, so clear.
Of all the beers that are cold filtered, only one has that distinctively clean, crisp taste. Budweiser, cold filtered and Beechwood aged for over 110 years.
Fat chance. Finding a faucet made as well as a price fister. After all, it's the one made in its own USA foundry. The one uniquely fashioned with a heart of solid brass. Start to finish, the quality is first rate. Furthermore, the cost is a fraction of what you'd expect. So why fiddle around? Get a price fister. The fabulous faucet with a funny name.
The Vector Series, a revolutionary new concept. The Vector, for the person seeking pro-roll and increased pin carry. The secret lies within. In traditional balls, the weight block is toward the outer surface. In the Vector 1, it's closer to the heart of the ball. In the Vector 2, next to the heart. The revolutions increase, giving you maximum striking power. The Vector Series, from Columbia 300, sold only in Lanes and Pro Shops.
Pronto, the fastest growing name in auto parts today. Pronto, featuring quality auto parts at lower prices.
Speed. For some, it's like last year the Motorcraft team won 4 world championships. With the same Motorcraft parts you can buy for your car. Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
When you need to know about auto parts, ask the pro at Pronto.
You know, Pete Weber, you appear to be pretty excited about your latest victory. You bowled brilliantly until the big shot in the 7th.
Well, I bowled good all week. The shot in the 7th, I just threw plain bad. I mean, I just threw it bad. And then the next shot after that, I threw even worse. But I brought it back with 2 good shots the next 2 frames. So that's what counted.
That's exactly right. You got far enough ahead early where you had a little cushion.
Yeah, thank God for that.
Now let's bring on Marty Howard from Kessler Whiskey, and oh my goodness, a check for $20,000.
Not bad. Kessler is really very happy to be associated with bowling, and especially professional bowling and bowling like Pete did tonight. It's great. We want to thank Ted Hoffman and Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl for doing an outstanding tournament. It's really great. And now I want to congratulate Pete, the lucky number 13.
Yeah.
Great. And I'll present you with a check for $20,000. Also, I might give you the one you can cash.
Okay. Yeah,
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I hope you have a lot more wins.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Marty. I know my mother's going to like this. But again, I'd like to thank Marty Howard from Kessler and Ted Hoffman and Earl Anthony for hosting the tournament. And a special thanks to the scorekeepers. They were great all week.
Yeah, especially that last score. Let's bring in Ted Hoffman now, a PBA Hall of Famer, and well, you've got the hardware for Mr. Weber.
Thanks, Denny. You know, we had a quality top 5 make our finals, and it was hard to pick a favorite, but Pete, congratulations. If Earl was here, I know he'd be out here to present the trophy. He's sunning in Florida at that bowling proprietors convention, but I know if he was here, he'd love to congratulate you, and we all do here at Dublin Bowl. You're a great champion, and we look forward to seeing you again next year.
Yeah, well, again, I'd like to thank Ted and Earl for hosting the tournament. I know it's really rough down there in Florida in that 100-degree weather down there. Instead of here, it's down there. But you bet your life I'll be back again next year. It's always a pleasure to come to Earl's place because I know we're always going to be treated good.
Whew. Just one quick question for Mike Durbin.
As he just fouled for the first
didn't
time
cost
here.
Anything, though.
13, halfway there to number 26. May not take as long as you thought, huh?
Well, hopefully it won't, but I'm not going to push it. I'll just let it come as it comes.
I know your dad's rooting for it to happen back at home.
Oh, well, he's not at home either. He's in Florida with Earl.
Oh, he's in Florida.
Yeah.
Everybody's in Florida. Is that it? All right.
Yeah, but you'd much rather be in Dublin, California. Thanks so much for joining us here on ESPN. Our newest champion, Pete Weber, title number 13, and I have a feeling it'll be a lucky number 13 before it's all said and done.
The championship round finals of the $130,000 Kessler Open have been brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. And by Price Pfister, the fabulous faucet with the funny name. Next week, the PBA Summer Tour heads off to the Great Northwest for the championship round finals of the $150,000 Seattle Open at Skyway Park Bowl, beginning at 9:30 Eastern Time, live on ESPN.